Hello world! Good evening, my gentle online farm perusers. Today is the 23rd of May. Thought I'd give you a little update on this past spring, as we've had some interesting happenings here on the farm. What you see behind me, the second wave of chickens for this spring. This spring I'm doing 3 waves of chickens. The first one started on the 18th of March. The last of them was slaughtered about a week ago. That was a difficult month and a half. The end of March was extremely humid and very cold. I ordered chickens 28 days old from someone I'd never ordered from before. It was totally a shot in the dark, but because he delivered nearby, I ordered from him. The day that I got them, it was extremely cold. The chickens had not eaten or drunk for at least 12 hours because of transport, and they were very stressed. I brought them onto the pasture and put them into one of these. It was clear that they were freezing and very uncomfortable. So what I ended up doing was covering the whole back half of this tractor with all kinds of sheets and towels just to keep the wind out, because the wind was bringing in a lot of damp air. Cold, damp air is the worst thing for young chicks. Well, what happened was by that evening, they had all come down with some sort of pneumonia. Well, not all of them. It seemed like all of them because you could hear the noises they were making. It sounded like all of them were sick. One of them was so sick that it died that night. It was a small chick, very runty. 2 chickens came with broken legs. One of them died that night. The other one survived actually for a couple of weeks. I was rooting for it, but eventually it succumbed to the enormous stress of pneumonia and a broken leg. But it was a fighter. I was rooting for that chicken. That same evening that I got them, I bought a couple of heat lamps to keep them warm. But I just felt like it wasn't enough, so within a couple of days, I actually moved them all down to the basement where we keep the cars in the garage. I moved the cars out, and I put the chickens in their place in cages on hay, and I kept them there for a week, separated the ones that were clearly ill from the ones that weren't clearly ill, and put them all on antibiotics for upper respiratory infections. Basically healthy. Basically ill. They're all sneezing and gurgling, but at least they're drinking the water and eating the food. It seemed to help, and then after about 10 days, once the really awful weather passed, it felt like an eternity. I brought them up into the grass, and the very first week that I brought them into the grass, we had an incredible torrential downpour, and I had separated them into 3 pens to keep the ones that were still recovering from illness separate from the ones that weren't apparently ill. And 2 of the pens completely flooded, and 4 chickens died from shock. The rest survived. A few of them had recurring symptoms of the illness, which makes me think that it was actually a particular bacterial infection called mycoplasmosis. It has a more complicated name that's not coming to my mind right now. The point is, it was a mycoplasma infection. I was given advice that these kinds of chickens that have this infection, they're just not going to grow that well. If you have a lot of them with recurring symptoms, better to get rid of them. So I actually threw over the fence 4 or 5 chickens, which I honestly regret because I kept the rest of the ill ones and they did actually pretty well. All things considered, they grew well. So I shouldn't have thrown those ones over. I think I should have had more hope in their chances of survival. Anyway, after the first ones died that first day, I started out with something like 98 or 96 chickens, and then by the time I slaughtered all of them, about 72 or 3 had survived to slaughter. So I lost a little over 20%. It was a pretty brutal haircut. Thankfully, most of them died young, so there wasn't a lot of wasted feed, but unfortunate compared to last spring where things were a lot smoother. So they grew slower, and many of them did not make the ideal weight. They were a bit lighter than the ideal weight. Not that, I mean, they're easier to store in your freezer that way when they're smaller, so it wasn't a huge deal, but it was a little bit unfortunate. At the same time, I had rabbits growing, and I still do. I learned how to butcher rabbits, and they're actually delicious. I think they're now my second favorite meat after chicken. Check it out. This is our male, calling him Rusty, because the cages are a little bit rusty. I got these secondhand. Boom, that's Felicia. Hey, Felicia. Now look, if you notice, she's missing some fur in her back. That's because Rusty, he's been getting a little bit thrusty, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's the other one. Call her Blacketta. How about Blacketta? You like your pen? What do you think there, Felicia? Good stuff? Really enjoyed the rabbits that I raised and ate. High quality stuff. Of course, we have good cooks in this family, so that helps. And now I have a new litter of rabbits that are maturing. Check it out. Oh. 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 Look who we got. Look at these newcomers. Hello. And we'll be ready in a couple of months for our stomachs once again. So that's exciting. And actually, within a month or so, I will be putting in sheep as well. The plan is to get between 2 and 4 sheep and to put them in electric fencing and move them every day or 2 across the whole property in a loop that will hopefully cover at least a month of time from start back to start again. And that will be the next big step. Now this is the second wave of chickens. Hey, look at that, my girls. There's almost 70 chickens in this pen. Look at that. The water's empty. I got 80 of them. Now about 73 are alive. I lost 6 of them to a fox attack. I had them in smaller pens in the dog area where the ground is a little bit less flat and smooth and where there's less spotlights. And my dog, who's now old and geriatric, is completely useless, a schmuck. This fox had all night to dig, and it didn't get into the pens because if it did, it would have killed all of the chickens, but it did manage to snatch them from the side and yank them out, and so it took 5 and severely injured 2. One of the 2 died within a couple of days because the injury was pretty dang nasty. And then another one has survived up till now. It's still very weak, and I've separated it, but it's surviving. The rest here are doing okay. I lost 1 to some sort of, I am assuming, a gastrointestinal issue. I don't know exactly what it was. I don't think it was an infectious issue. I think it was just an internal glitch in its system that caused it to expire early. The rest of these seem to be doing okay, growing well. These chickens have actually been eating the wrong food since I got them because there was a mix-up with the food company. They gave me a grain combination, a protein combination that was supposed to be for the first month of growth, but I got these at 25 days old. Should have gotten second tier food, which has slightly lower protein and a couple other nutrient differences. And I got third tier, which is for the last 2 weeks of their life, which has the least amount of protein, and it's actually the largest size food because as they get older, the food particle size increases. So I've actually been combining the foods because I don't have the middle food, which is what they need right now. So I'm mixing what I have, which is the first month food with the last month food to see if I can strike a balance. And so far they're doing okay. They're growing pretty well. I don't think their growing has been severely retarded, if retarded at all, because of the failure in proper diet. Differences are minor. I think it just might affect their growth rate a little bit. Next week, actually, I'm getting another 100 chickens. Here is the newest addition of chickens to the farm. Doing all right. So things have really scaled up since last spring, and I gotta figure out exactly how I'm going to place those. Given that the dog area is now a death trap, I have to figure out how I'm gonna put them on this lawn without overburdening the grass. The grass has been doing really well with the chicken manure, but of course, too much too fast can create lasting issues because you can burn basically the grass if you put too much nitrogen on it via the chicken poop. But the grass has gotten really green. It's actually really beautiful, the palette of green coloration on the grass right now because of the chickens spreading their manure. Here's a recent tragedy that happened. I had 2 mother rabbits and I lost one of them to illness. It got an ear mite that I treated a little bit too late. I tried olive oil first, but it wasn't doing enough. The ear mite spread to the rest of the body. It eventually died of an infection, and so I lost that mom. It died while raising milk-dependent infants, and most of the infants died because they didn't have any milk. They were malnourished. I didn't like that mother at all. She was very ill-tempered, and she failed me to the very end. She was just a failure of a rabbit. Very disappointed with her. Happy she's dead. I was gonna slaughter her if she hadn't gone out on her own. Just kind of a pain in the butthole. A pain up the rectum, things considered. But 3 of her young ones survived. I raised them on raw goat's milk, which is apparently the only milk they can drink outside of some sort of special powdered milk for kitty cats. I don't know what's up with that, but that's the only milk that actually has the right nutritional profile to keep them alive. And so I fed them on raw goat's milk for 2 or 3 weeks, and now they're starting to eat regular food, and so it looks like they will survive. So the other day I shaved my dog. Look at this guy. He was having skin issues. We had to get some of the hair off him. It was too hot. Weather's too hot for what he's going. Hey, Zook, you look ridiculous. I know. I'm so pathetic. Yeah, he knows he's pathetic. He knows he's pathetic. Okay, hang on a second. Hello, guys. These are the 3 that I saved. Look at them. They're so cute. Choco, choco, choco. From the previous batch that I slaughtered, I've kept 1 beautiful female rabbit, which I quite like. She's big, she's brown, she's healthy, and I'm trying to mate her, get her to start having babies too. Check out my babies. Amazing. Look at them running around. Hey, mama. This is the new brown mama I got. I'm gonna call her Brownie. Brownetta. Browniski. I have 2 rabbits in a chicken tractor in the lawn that are male and female. They have not bred at all. It's been months. And I think their time is coming to finish the cycle of life and become dinner. What I might do in the next week is take them from their tractor and put them in regular rabbit cages and fatten them up a bit with some regular rabbit food, the grain pellets, and then terminate their earthly service. Recently, I got 10 more egg-laying chickens from this place nearby. Turns out 5 of them had some sort of illness, seemed to be affecting their lungs. So I'm assuming it's some sort of mycoplasma problem, because mycoplasma is very common. They're surviving and thriving. Soon, God willing, they'll be laying eggs. But they've infected my old chicken flock. Check out my crazy egg layers. They heard me coming, they started flocking. What do you want from me? These are the new ones, they came sick. This black one here, Blackie, I think it's this Blackie. She's all croaky. You're a little bit sick, huh? But you're hiding from the rest of us, huh? Wanna get us all sick? You're a double agent. Let's see if there's eggs. Ah, voila! Beauties! Incredible. Eggs. Voila. This is actually their ashtray so that they can rub around and get those parasites off. Ash is caustic and it removes parasites from the skin. But they decided to lay eggs in it, so there's that. I have a couple that are uncomfortably ill and perhaps a few others that are a little bit under the weather. So we're gonna see how many actually survive in the next few months. Will they all die? It remains to be seen. Don't know the outcome of that yet. We put in a garden here for vegetables. The earth is extremely dark and soft. It's really wonderful. The last couple of years of putting on cover crops, of mulching, of constantly laying down new material onto the earth, keeping the earth covered at all times has really produced very pleasing results in the soil profile. So we're gonna keep doing it and improve the gardening strategies that we have to make things more efficient in the future. I didn't allocate time this year to do a proper in-depth analysis of the garden space to make it really ideal, so we just kind of tilled and made a bunch of semi-arbitrary planting rows and planted a bunch of stuff, experimenting, planting corn with green beans and around squash and whatnot. But check out this beautiful garden. Corn and tomatoes and zucchini and more tomatoes and corn and zucchini and peppers, yeah, and cucumber. Got a whole thing going. The sun is so powerful that even in the shade, the tomatoes are doing well. Just incredible. Mwah. I want to create a garden space where I'm just going to be filling it with hay, creating a nice thick layer of mulch, and then not even tilling, just aerating the soil with special pitchfork style tools, and then planting directly into the mulch and creating precise, measured, preordained rows that will remain for years. As for the sheep that I want to experiment getting sheep young after they've been weaned so they're not drinking milk. So a couple of months old, and raise them for a few months, maybe until they're 6 or 7 months old, and then slaughter them. The idea is to raise them on pasture, rotational grazing style, to move ahead of the chickens following the sheep, picking through their scraps and eating whatever they find. And using the sheep, of course, for meat at the end, but also to rejuvenate the soil faster and to act as a glorified lawnmower. The idea is 90% of their food intake would be straight grass, make them grass-fed, maybe a little bit of grain to supplement them, slightly, just a little bit, possibly. Still considering that. Definitely a possibility just to fatten them up a little bit. So you don't need much. 100 grams a day per sheep is all you really need. And so I'm not going to try to breed them just yet since it's experimental. It's just the beginning. I don't have a lot of land space. So the idea is just get them young and weaned, raise them in a cyclical fashion on pasture so that they do a lot of good to my land, and then slaughter them and eat them and enjoy a feast of lamb. And if that goes well, continue that. And then once I've gained experience and maybe I have access to a little more land or things develop in that direction, then I can actually consider breeding the sheep myself and raising them as a perennial flock. That's where things stand now on the farm, where they're at, where they're going. Hopefully I'll be raising even more chickens next spring. We'll see what happens, and God willing we'll get new dogs soon, because the dog we have is useless. I mean, think about how much time the foxes had. They dug at multiple pens, all 3 of them. 2 of them they actually got through and stole chicken, and that must have taken them a bit of a while. And my dog is so old and tired, and basically he just kind of acts like they're his cousin. He's like, ah, come on in, take what you want, and pantry's open. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll get new dogs too, more vicious, virile, energetic animals that are looking for blood. That's what we want. We want dogs that are looking for blood. Oh, and the last thing, of course, is that I got bees. I now have 2 beehives. Now, you may have noticed at this point that I'm actually in a white onesie, and it's reasonable if it entered your mind to ask, is he an angel? Am I a Catholic choir eunuch? Well, I'm here to put all those questions to rest because I'm wearing a bee suit. And they're growing well, and God willing, soon they'll turn into 3 or 4 as they mature and as they expand. Looking to get into honey because I love honey. This helps us remove bees from stuff so we don't hurt them. Let's get in here. Let's see what's up. Sugar time. Very nice. Oh, wow. Look, I pierced a honey thing. Look at all that honey on it. Have you seen that? That is so cool. here's the baby making factory and here's the honey factory for this particular cell. And these are so good for making a healthier, more robust ecosystem. And so super excited about that. They put propolis on the edge of the top to seal it. Most of the sugar's still here, so they got plenty of sugar still. Don't shoot the thing. Okay, I'm back. I just made one of the most hilarious rookie mistakes you can, which is I forgot to totally zip up my collar. And all these bees got in my helmet. I got a sting on my earlobe right here, which is kind of funny. They say bee stings are actually therapeutic. I guess what I'm saying is that I will never have to worry about an arthritic right ear. I think there's actually still a bee in here. So yeah, the farm is growing. We have a very robust mass immigration policy on this farm. All animal immigrants are welcome. But yeah, that's it. That's the update. All right, I'll catch you in the next video.